Welcome to this webinar brought to you by Eastern India Lions Leadership Academy. Today's topic is moving away from traditional clubs, breaking boundaries. Lions Clubs International, as it enters a new century of service, obviously, we would now like to see a different way as to how we approach the clubs. That is what today's webinar is all about. Our speakers today our past International Director, Jerome Thompson, who leads Constitutional Area 1 for GMT. We have past International Director, Kenneth Persson from Sweden. We have past District Governor, Elena Appiani from Italy. And we have Vice District Governor, Michael Scott from the United States. We will also have past International Director, Sanjay Khetan from Nepal joining us. Before we move on to the webinar, we would just like to tell you that on your control panel, probably you would see that there is a hand icon. We will be keeping all of you muted, but if you would like to ask a question, which we would like to allow you to ask, once all the presenters have spoken, we will open it up for questions. You can just press on the hand icon and then you will be unmuted. You could ask your question. In case your audio does not work, you can also send in your questions through the question pane on your computer screen. So before we move on, may I invite the organizer for this webinar, past International Director, Lion AP Singh, to tell you a little about the Eastern India Lions Leadership Academy. Over to PID AP Singh.
Thank you, PID Sangeeta. Eastern India Lions Leadership Academy is an open platform for conversations between the lions of the world. Every resource on this academy comes through the contributions of various lions from different constitutional areas. You're welcome to use every resource on the website of the academy. There are hundreds of PowerPoints, many videos, and recordings of the previous webinars, together with a few other articles on relevant issues that are regularly available on the website. We started with this series of webinars some years ago. We had suspended it, but then we got a good response and a request coming from various parts of the world, and we have reignited that process again. And I would like to thank everybody who's joined the webinar today. Let me just start by telling you that right now we have 77 attendees already, but I'm sure by the next few minutes, the number is going to swell up because we had more than 300 registrations, and we have attendees from all parts of the world. So it's a global platform. The experiences that will be shared by the speakers will be global personal experiences from different parts of the world, and that's what one of the very important points of our the strengths of our organization is diversity in opinion, diversity in the way we do things. So let's get started right away, and may I invite PID Jerome Thompson to start his presentation.
Good morning, PID AP and Sangeeta, and thank you so very much for allowing me to join you from the USA. It's a beautiful marriage of specialty clubs, which was approved by the board of directors in 2017, and the branch club concept, when we bring those together. And in our traditional clubs, and the reason that we may be moving away from some traditional clubs is that we also have some traditional members who are wearing chevrons of 35, 40, 50, 60 years, who may not be as flexible to new trends as they need to be. And so by marrying this special interests and specialty clubs with the branch club concept, we can bring in a specialty club, a club of targeting younger members into a branch club, let them bring their new ideas, their new excitement, their new projects, without having the distraction, excuse me, of some of the more seasoned members who have already set service projects and fundraising projects, and we've never done it that way in the past. And so when we add value to the lives of young members, it is win-win. It's a home run. Attracting young members to branch clubs gives us an opportunity to bring those members in, add value to their lives as they add value to our association. The first thing that we need to understand as we move toward inviting members is the entrance fees. It's a single first base hit. When we invite full-time students under the age of 30 or former Leo members under the age of 30 to join our association, there's no entrance fee. So we have a wide open door to a ready-made market of young individuals at universities and colleges around the world and former Leos to bring into our association. It's a double whenever we consider the fact that half of international dues are charged for students and former Leos under the age of 30. So we've opened the door with no entrance fee. And when they come in, only charge them half of international dues. And then we place them in a branch club, which provides them greater opportunities to lead. There's a smaller number of members in the branch club. And so we have the presidents, we have the secretaries, we have the committee chairs, we have the vice committee chairs. As we're doing this, then we are beginning to build a resume for our younger members. So when they're looking for jobs or they're applying for higher education opportunities, then those that are reviewing their resume, their portfolios, they're seeing that they're involved in the community and that they are taking leadership roles in volunteer organizations, and that they can bring those skills to the campus or to the job and enhance the environment that they're looking to participate in. And secondly, Lions building resumes with a Lions Learning Center. If you've not been on our Lions Learning Center, you need to be there. There's 26 courses that talk about leadership skills, meeting management skills, Robert's Rules of Order. And when those things are brought into our association and placed on our members' resumes and in their portfolios, they enhance their likelihood of being hired for those higher advanced jobs, and also they enhance their ability to be accepted into the institutions of higher learning. Club members have the opportunity to hold offices and chair committees and lead in projects. And I'm going to tell you that here in the US, and specifically in Alabama, we had a community college that had 50 students who needed community service in order to keep their scholarships, and they weren't able to get all the community service they needed. And so when that university partnered with our Lions Club and brought some of these scholarship students into our Lions Clubs, we provided the opportunity for them to get their community service to keep their scholarships. We added value to their life. And when we do those things, then we are getting members who are going to stay because they see the value of their membership. And then it's up to us as more traditional members who have been around longer to make sure that we're recognizing the achievements and the contributions of our younger members, making sure that on a regular basis we're presenting them certificates and awards so they can add it to their portfolio. And then what I've offered our younger members is if they need a letter of recommendation, I will get that from their local club president, who can write them a letter of recommendation so that they can take that to a future employer or to a future university or institution of higher learning and say, this is a letter of recommendation from the world's largest service organization, and they're going to tell you what I've already done for them and the skills that I can bring to this job or I can bring to this learning environment. And when we do that, we've expanded the concept of branch clubs and specialty clubs into a special marriage. And I believe that we can take and move our association forward, bring in new voices of younger members into our association. I'm excited about the possibilities, and I believe that this may be a way for us to propel ourselves into that second century of service. Thank you, Lion AP.
Thank you, Lion Jerome. That was extremely interesting, and the way you started off this discussion. As we move on, I would like to invite past International Director Kenneth Persson from Sweden to share his ideas, his thoughts, and his experiences of working with non-traditional clubs. Over to PID Kenneth Persson.
Thank you very much, PID Sangeeta. Hello everybody, Lion members around the globe. My name is Kenneth Persson, and my whole Alliance life I have been interested in membership, and I also served in the board of directors in the Membership Development Committee. Today I will not show any PowerPoint presentations about the structures and so on, as I know my fellow Lions coming after me today will give you this information. I will just give you a success story, accompanied by 3 pictures about how and where to look for opportunities and possibilities to start up clubs with just one theme or interest, what we today call special clubs. I have always been curious for new areas for Lions to explore. And some years ago, I met with a man from the Philippines who had started up a private aid activity for his old home country after the Philippines were badly hurt by the typhoons. After just a short time, we chartered a club with the only interest was to help the ones in need in the Philippines, but that is another story. Today I will tell you about the first special club in Sweden oriented on marine environment and children. 2 years ago I met with a very interesting person who had started up in a rather small scale to tell people about the necessity of having clean water in the oceans, in the rivers and lakes, as clean water is the one thing we cannot live without. His small business at that time didn't allow Lions to start up a club, not even a branch club. So I followed him carefully and we became personal friends, and he was prepared to interest Lions for his ideas. We have had many meetings exchanging ideas, and today we are very, very close to the target. Last summer, he was invited to the United Nations Environment Conference in New York to tell researchers from the whole world about his educational work here in my hometown. I invited then Lions Clubs International to come to New York, but no one could find the time as all personnel were busy in preparing the convention in Chicago. Now, there are 9 people working in this institute, and they have got a new schoolhouse built last summer when the Crown Princess of Sweden and the Swedish Minister of Environment inaugurated the building. Can we have the picture number 1, please?
Thank you, PID Persson. And what we are experiencing.
Sorry.
Just move the slide.
The slide number 1. Here you can see the Royal Highness Crown Princess Victoria when she inaugurated the Marina Center. And to the right, I don't know if you recognize him, but that is the King of Sweden when he also visited there and he was fishing. Today, more than 8,000 children between 6 and 18 years have already been educated at this Marine Education Center in my hometown about the marine environment. And we can see a little bit of that if you show me slide number 2. Here you can see the children out exploring what's under the waterline. And then please, slide number 3. This is how they got the theory about what they experience when they are out in the water. The next step for this institute is to build a Naturum, that is a place to explore the nature outside the main building. So we have now come to the point when my friend and his personnel are ready to start the first marine environment special club in Sweden, with the aim not only to continue the successful work in educating children in how to socialize with water, the water plants and the fishes, but my and my friends' biggest challenge will be to spread the word to all Lions Club worldwide situated close to water and to start up similar activities, all under the hat of Lions programs for children and environment. As there are only 9 persons today, we will start as a branch to my club, who will be the sponsoring club. I know the time is very limited here today, but all of you who want to know more about this new club are very welcome to contact me. And past international director Sangeeta and AP, they know how well to find me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, PID Kenneth. And that was wonderful. In fact, we are already beginning to experience the international flavor and the way things are happening in different parts of the world. And with this, it's now my pleasure to invite Lion Michael Scott from the United States. Michael is very active on the social media. He's one of the important influencers and opinion makers with the Lions in Constitutional Area 1. He's going to step into the shoes of a district governor in the next year. And he has very strong views and opinions on this subject. So over to you, Michael.
Thank you, PID AP. What I'm going to be exploring today is the next generation of Lions Clubs. They need to appeal and provide unlimited opportunities to a diverse population of service-minded individuals of all ages. Is your club all that it can be now? Next slide, please. Trying new things can be as easy as 1, 2, 3. The 3-2-1 concept, which I've discussed in other arenas before, is very interested. It interests me very much. It goes away from the traditional club concept. Currently, no 2 clubs are exactly the same, and each member and community needs are different, and each club looks different. Some clubs are very traditional with weekly meetings and a strong sense of history. Other clubs don't meet at all and instead hold meetings online or cyber or virtual clubs and only come together for service projects. This concept is a newer concept that I'm looking at, this 3-2-1 concept, which on the slide, it's 1 hour of guided discussion. So that depends on how the board or the club wants to do that. And that's 1 hour a month. So that with people with a busy lifestyle, that allows you to get business done in a short amount of time, in a specific amount of time. And then you set up for 2 hours of social activity. Club members don't just do service, they have fun. Members want to make new friends by being part of the club where they attend meetings and participate in social events. This could be activity that involves the whole family, which will allow more people, especially in Constitutional Area 1. We're also trying to get husbands and wives and partners as members, not just the traditional men being part of the group. And that's part of this New Voices initiative Lions clubs also provide an excellent network opportunity. Members meet new people from all over the region and the world through service projects, fundraising, and by attending district and international conventions. And then we go to 3 hours of service. To keep a member involved and engaged, you need to have them involved in club, especially in service. Those services can be specific to the community. Next slide, please. Or the club service projects can cover our global service areas: the diabetes, environment, hunger, childhood cancer, or vision. So what I'm here to do is to kind of tell you to think out of the box and support your community and support your members. And that's what I'm here to do, is to make sure that all the members are felt supported and helped in any way. And thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks. Oh, this is one thing I wanted to know. Try to limit your fundraising to one major project a year, not having everything about fundraising. Do it more primarily on service. Thank you.
Lady Sangeeta, please continue.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
As we talk about different ways of doing clubs, as we talk about the specialty clubs that Jerome spoke about, Kenneth spoke about, and then thinking differently is what Michael got to you. And now we move on to a different way to be a lion, brought to you by past district governor Elena Appiani, who is the GMT area leader in Italy. A very accomplished lion leader, Elena has been working for a number of years with the membership teams, and today she's here to share her experience with us and to tell us how she successfully has organized and made a difference in her country. Over to you, Elena.
Thank you for joining me at the webinar, PID Sangeeta. I would like to share you some successful stories about specialty clubs. First of all, please the next slide. First of all, it is necessary to do an overview of the current situation in Italy about membership growth. It is possible. Next slide, please. Thank you. Italy is still losing members, but there is a constant improvement in membership growth. This slide shows that the trend is positive and improving every year. Analyzing data during the year, we can see that in the last 2 years, during the last quarter, the result between new and drop members is positive. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to prevent the June effect yet. We are working hard on this. This slide shows the district governor's goals for this social year are prudent but positive. The goal is to start growing again. The next slide, please. What are the best strategies for growing? Creating new clubs, specialty, normal, and branch. Involving new targets by preparing engaging projects, in particular for the young people and women. Using territory mapping to know better the current situation, but in particular to find uncovered areas to create new clubs. Working on retention, searching for the new leaders, and creating the network. In Italy, we are working on all these topics. Actually, today, I would like to present you the impact that the specialty club have had in Italy. Specialty clubs to support Lions Club international growth. Ethnics, they will help to build our legacy for the next century. Special interest and hobbies clubs, they will help us to satisfy unmet community needs. Focus on specific service activity and support the increase of club branches. Where have we to start from? There are many steps. It is necessary to provide for an action plan, organize a task force of volunteers that can coordinate the build of the new club, align our 100-year-old mission with current and different needs, support GMT goals and adapting to modern communities, launch social media campaigns, tune busy schedules and interest with service, and realize videos with stories of specialty clubs. There are the steps that we have used in Italy to create new specialty clubs. We have already chartered 9 specialty clubs and 7 branch clubs. The next slide, please. The most of these are situated in Puglia, in the district AB in the south of Italy. A pilot project has started in Puglia to study the problems and the opportunities to create specialty clubs. The multi-district specialty club coordinator is located in Puglia. The aim of this pilot project was to study all its phases to understand the impact on members, on territory, and on service. Let me give some positive examples of specialty clubs. The next slide. The first is the Lions Club Puglia Youth Exchange. There are 35 members. Nobody of these members was Lions before. They growing every month. They are parents or friends or host families that know the Lions Youth Exchange program, and they are motivated to work on this project. The mission is to support youth exchange and Lions youth camps, creating global citizens across the world. The second example is Lions Club Puglia Champions. The next slide, please. There are 21 volunteers that support disabled people, their families, and special athletes. They organize sporting events aiming at the full inclusion in society of people with intellectual disabilities. They are focused on screening for Special Olympics athletes, volunteers during the regional tournament, LEO's participation for inclusive sports, be a mentor for a trained athletes. The third example is a Lions Club Puglia Solidarity Medicine Lifestyle. The next slides, please. They are 25 members that organize activities to spread the lifestyle model. The activities are screening for children, health medical prevention center, seminars for a healthy lifestyle. And the fourth and the last example is the Lions Club Salento Environment and Territory. This is the cultural club. There are 26 members, young professionals working in the field of health, industry, and the public administration. They are focused on environment protection program and seminar pollution prevention. I would like to make a few remarks concerning how the new specialty club improved on membership growth in the District 108 AB Puglia. It was many years since the district lost members. The birth of this club has been positive for 2 reasons. The first one is the positive impact on membership growth. The second one is membership motivation. This is a different model of the club, more service-oriented. In comparison with a traditional club, the approach is different, creating interesting synergy among members on a common goal. The result is that after many years of crisis in the district, at the end of June, the balance between new and lost members was positive of 116 members. In conclusion, the specialty clubs are not the only way for growing, but they represent an opportunity to catch and activate a good network around specific service projects. Thank you for the attention.
Thank you so much, Elena. That showed how different ways you could align people, either through a hobby, through a cause, reason why they serve, and came and formed those specialty clubs. It's a different way of thinking, different way of going about recruiting members, and that is exactly what we wanted to hear. Thank you for this, but the leadership that you have shown, that was indeed inspiring. We have with us Natalia from Lions Clubs International, our head office, and she would like to share some thoughts. Over to you, Natalia. You are unmuted.
Thank you very much. Thank you for everyone for joining us today, and for you, PID, for giving me the opportunity to address those present. I'm Natalia Jinez. I work at headquarters in Oak Brook, and I am creating resources and tools to support some of those new clubs that choose to conduct their activities mainly virtually or online. And we're calling them virtual clubs. We do know of the existence of several of those around the world. And we are, right now, what I am trying to do is gather as much information as possible from those clubs that are active, to learn how they are doing things in their area. We obviously understand that each club has different goals and different needs and use technology differently in order to meet their goals. And so we're really interested to hear about how they're doing it. So if you or any of your fellow Lions are part of those clubs, I encourage you to contact us and let us know what your challenges are been, or how things have actually worked well for you. What tools, what resources, what applications are you using to make it easy and better for you to communicate among your members? We are specifically interested in trying to put together certain guidelines, since we are getting a lot of questions and information from Lions that want to give this opportunity of virtual clubs in their areas. So we want to put together certain guidelines for all of you out there to follow and to make it easier to get these clubs going. And we want to know, it's the difficult part, I think, a lot of the times would be administratively, how to gather thoughts and from your members, specifically when it comes to voting. So what are the tools are you using to allow your members, or to facilitate your members to submit votes? And also, what are the tools are you using to facilitate payment of membership dues, which is different from receiving donations electronically? So like I said, if you have any ideas, if you have any personal experience of what things have worked best in your clubs or in your areas, we would really appreciate that feedback. And any other things that you can think that you can have in mind that would be helpful to support you in keeping your club active and engaged and successful in your areas. We are open to listening, and we want to work with you and support you so that you can be the best clubs for your communities. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, obviously, like at the beginning you were instructed, please send it, and we'll be more than happy to answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Natalia. That was indeed nice that you joined in and you're hearing the stories and maybe also the challenges some of the members might be facing, because obviously we are moving away from the traditional clubs. And that's what the world needs. That's what the next generation needs. And probably to keep ourselves engaged, that's what even we need to see, a different culture of Lions clubs. So now we will move on to the question and answer session, and you could direct a question to any of the presenters. You could just ask a general question if you wish, or even share your experience or success or challenge if you've had in forming non-traditional clubs. So PID AP Singh, may I request you to kindly take over, and I can already see a few hands up. So if you would unmute them and take this forward.
Sure. Thank you, PID Sangeeta. And the first individual whom I can see who's put up the hand is our friend Amin Hacha from Lebanon. So Amin, you're unmuted. Please go ahead and put in your comment or your question.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Yes, Amin, please go ahead.
Sorry, maybe by mistake I raised my hand. Anyway,
Okay.
I want to
so that's okay. If Amin doesn't have a question, we will move on to the next individual, who is Ashok Kulkarni. So Ashok Kulkarni, you're unmuted. You can go ahead and put in your question.
Very good evening to all of you. And I am Ashok Kulkarni from 317A district. And we had the pleasure of having Sangeeta madam for our cabinet installation on 12th of August at Bangalore. Okay. And the entire session was extremely interesting. And this is the first webinar I am attending. So I must express my gratitude to both PID AP Singh, Sangeeta Jatia also. PID Sangeeta Jatia also.
Please. Your question. Do you have a question?
Coming to the question. See, I am a Lion for the last 24 years. My feeling is we are unable to publicize different ways how we can recruit members. Okay. The session was extremely interesting. But if you ask an average Lion, not many people are aware that these are the ways by which we can extend the clubs and involve more members. It could be a specialty club, it could be a branch club. This is something Lions as a LCI as a whole need to give little more publicity, and we need to talk about it in different forums so that it gets the desired effect at every district.
So thank you for your comment. That was a comment coming in from Ashok Kulkarni, not really a question, but thank you for your comments. And we will now move on to Kevin Banfield. Kevin, we are unmuting you. You can step in with your question.
Yep, thank you very much. Kevin Banfield, District Governor 815 in Canada. My question is there, with moving away from the traditional branch club or traditional clubs, is there any chatter or talk about changing how we can get those cyber club members who don't necessarily live in our districts to be able to serve as district officers?
So who would like to answer that? Jerome, would you like to step in?
PID AP, I can tell you from my discussions of late concerning the membership trends in not only the United States but Canada, that there's a lot of discussion going on right now. It would be very difficult for someone who was maybe living in Peru, was a member of my cyber club, to hold a traditional office of zone or region or district governor in North Alabama. And there's some challenges there. as we move on and as we move into this cyber club concept that will have to be worked out. The first of which would be how for them to serve beyond the cyber club level. We don't have a perfect association. We have a growing association, and it's a lot like my children. I never knew what their development would be in 6 or 9 months or a year, and I just sort of had to adapt from day to day when they were in the infant stage. And I think as we're dealing with this concept of virtual clubs and cyber clubs, we're adapting day by day, month by month, year by year, as this concept grows into reality and we see us serving and forming alliances in different ways. At this point in time, there's a lot of chatter, but that's not any that I have heard to this point.
So understood.
Natalia, AP, I think Natalia would like to respond also. She has just sent a message. So would you unmute her?
Yes, we will unmute her. But basically, what Jerome's trying to say is that this is work in progress, and that's understandable. Yes, Natalia.
Correct. And I wanted to thank PID Jerome as well because that is precisely what we're trying to do over here. We're trying to gather as much information as we can to see how this might be able to work or not in the future. It is something that's new for the organization, and we understand that there is obviously interest from our members especially if they want to be part of a virtual club, that they also want to hold offices. So it is a topic that is being discussed. And we welcome views and suggestions and comments from everyone to try and see what would be the best way to go about this. It is important to take into consideration that being an officer does require a lot more involvement from an individual. And so having a virtual present, it's much more different than supporting your area and your lions at that type of leadership level. So there are challenges to that, but I think that the more that we talk about it and the more that we hear from our lions, from our membership, I think that we would be able to find a resolution that it gives the lions the opportunities that want to serve in that way, and still support the organization and the membership and allow them to hold those types of positions. Thank you very much.
The question pane is full of a lot of questions regarding the cyber clubs. There's a suggestion from Kevin Banfield that maybe a ratios clause, which is already there, I think, should be something that we could look at. Then there are some asking about how do they fulfill the district administrative requirements, and all work in progress. But there is, if I'm not mistaken, tab on our LCIA website about cyber clubs, and it would be worth exploring that for all those who are asking those questions as to how the cyber clubs can work at this point of time. Of course, they will get improved as time goes on. If you have anybody else, there is a comment from Dawn Rice Norton, who has just left, and she said that we have a specialty club that began as a service project providing in-person social activities for persons living in rural area with little access to public transport. They are now a club and beginning service projects like taking officials out for a blindfolded walk to demonstrate the challenges they face. So also a dining in the dark is something that they've done. So there are various ways. And if there's anybody else who's raised their hand, you can go ahead.
Yes, others that have raised their hand. And we will now move on to those individuals and give them an opportunity to ask their questions. We do appreciate that the cyber club issue is being discussed so aggressively, and our individual lions are engaged with it. That is very wonderful, because that definitely is the future, but then we will have to pave the way gradually as we move along. Malik Muhammad Faisal Hassan, we are unmuting you. Please go ahead with your question. Malik Muhammad Faisal Hassan. If there's an audio issue, we'll move on to the next individual. And the next individual is Paniotis Synodinos. You have been unmuted. Sorry, I'm sorry. Just a minute. You have been unmuted.
Hello, I'm Panagiotis Synodinos from District 117B, North Greece, Cyprus. My question is if a specific district is allowed to establish a specialty club in another constitutional area. For example, there are some Greek students in Austria that are interested in creating a campus club. For example, if our district is allowed to establish a branch specialty club in another constitutional area. Thank you.
I mean, this is a simple answer, but whom would we like to answer this question? Who would like to say that? Speak anything? Any of the speakers, any of the presenters, please step in. I would specifically then, yes, please step in.
I believe the answer to that would be that a different district is not able to sponsor a club in an area that it does not encompass, you know, their own area. It is really great to hear that the students that are visiting want to establish that club, and I think the two districts can work together maybe to support the students in getting that done, but the home district where the club would be established or chartered would be the main club, will be a club from that district would have to be the one to sponsor officially the club to be created.
Thank you. And the next question, we see the hand put up by Ronald Dunham. Ronald Dunham II, you're unmuted. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
Okay. The question I have is that how are the features of the specialty clubs going to be presented on MyLion? Like, what are the features, or like, how is that going to be highlighted on MyLion? And what is it going to be different from other members? And how is that going to be highlighted and presented?
I don't think there is any special tab on MyLion for specialty clubs, but can anybody please confirm that?
I can speak a little bit to that. We are working into integrating a way to identify specialty clubs within, you know, our different platforms. We know that it will be important to people, for people to see that there are these types of different specialty clubs in the area, and we want to allow not only, you know, current members but prospective members to find those types of clubs. So that is something that we are working on. It is not currently available, but it is something that we are working on.
The next individual whom I'm unmuting is Suchitra Sudhir. Suchitra Sudhir, past district governor, you are unmuted.
Good evening to all. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Many of the doctors are interested in joining Lions clubs, but they feel that it is too time consuming. So what would you suggest to make it more friendly for professionals who are very busy?
Will Kenneth please take this question? PID Kenneth?
Yes, I'm here now. Well, it's a matter of priority. There are different ways to communicate. I mean, if you are really keen on doing something, if it's your special interest, you will find the time. You don't have to meet in the traditional way every second Thursday with a 3-course meal, having a long meetings. You can find the time, no problem whatsoever. I can speak from my own club. We have members in Singapore, in Canada, in Great Britain, in Sweden, and we can't meet like that. We meet on Skype, we meet on mail, we meet on FaceTime, and sometimes some of us meet, discuss special topics. So if you have interest to discuss something, you will always find a way.
Thank you. The next individual whom I'm unmuting is Stephen Soos. Stephen Soos, you're unmuted.
Thank you so much. Hello, fellow Lions. My name, as you said, is Stefan Tryggvesås, and I'm a Lions member of Fredrikstad Sorgenfri. We are what we call a semi-cyber club, and we are operating like Kenneth was telling about, because we also have members around in Europe, and but we are running international camps. So we are running 2 international camps through our club, and the members are coming up to Norway or participating while we are doing the international club or international camps. So is there an opening? So then I understand about what Kenneth is saying, that you have the opening that we can run clubs like that, because I think that can also be the future. Like we have the meeting, when we have the meetings, we have this, like Skype meetings. Everybody can join in, and some of us is sitting in a room, and the rest is that joining in as a camp. And there is opening for that? That's the question.
So I think that was more of a comment, but if there is anything else that maybe PDG Elena wants to add, you can add on to that. Okay.
There's an interesting comment from a Lion, Michael Sareen. He says Toronto Doctors Lions Club has started a walk and talk with a doc on Saturday mornings in a park for 1 hour. It's popular with people living with diabetes in the community. The club is even able to recruit members to the Toronto Doctors Lions Clubs. So sometimes when you have meetings and you have projects where there is a possibility of engaging more people, it's also a way that you can recruit more members. So you're doing your service, you're doing your marketing, and you're getting members too. So I think that's a wonderful way of merging a number of things. And I guess, Michael, you've got your answer to the question that yes, there are many clubs which are holding meetings on web, and it's working very well also. So Skype calls, FaceTime, do whatever. You could meet even on webinars, just like this. You could just have a meeting. You could share experiences. You could have a presentation. And you also have an option of a poll over here. So if you want to take a poll on or vote on any topic, you could do that also. It's all about preparing yourselves and getting going. So we'll move on to the next question.
And I'm going to unmute Shyam Kumar Yadav. Shyam Kumar Yadav, you're unmuted. Your question, please. Hearing none.
His question on the question pane is, what are the major areas of specialty clubs formed in Italy?
I think that was discussed. The slides had each of those discussed. There are 4 different slides that PDG Elena said. But PDG Elena, could you just very briefly mention those again?
Yes, in Italy we are chose the Puglia, the region of Puglia, because there are the multidisciplinary specialty club coordinator is located in Puglia, and they know very well our areas and study focus on services and activities specific on these areas. But utilizing the territory mapping is possible to mapping the opportunities on hobby or services or other topics that focus on specialty clubs.
Thank you. And the next individual I'm unmuting is Narasimha Raju Deshpalli. Narasimha Raju, you're unmuted.
Hi, sir. Actually, my query is related to beyond traditional clubs. How far, specialty club program will be successful? Because it is running up to only through June 30th, 2020. As per our LCA officially launched this program.
Specialty club only up to 2020?
Yeah.
Lion
That
AP.
was just
No.
Jerome.
This is past director Jerome, and when it was approved by the board as a pilot project, it did have an end date so that it could be evaluated. I think because of the success of it over the first couple of years, that you will see it either become a permanent program or have that pilot date extended, similar to other pilot programs that we have had. I wouldn't worry about the pilot program because the concept is there. Whether we have a coordinator of the pilot program or not, we can still go out and form clubs which are focused around special interests, special ethnic groups, special ages, and fit them into the traditional format. And as we're moving forward with this pilot program, I believe that you're going to see that date extended or completely done away with. I would not stop. They're not going to cancel specialty clubs just because we get to the end of a pilot program. We're going to continue to have this emphasis for a number of years, in my opinion.
Thank you. And the last individual that I'm unmuting to ask a question today is Kishore Verma.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Are you able to hear me, sir?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. I'm Lion Kishore Verma, PDG from District 321F from the City of the Golden Temple, Amritsar, India. Sir, the beauty of having a specialty club is to convert a common cause club into a Lions club. They go on doing whatever they were doing earlier for a common cause, but getting recognition by an international organization, that's Lions Clubs International, and for their work, they are being rewarded and they are enjoying the fellowship of members of the 101 years old organization. So my question is whether we can have a cyber club with members from all over the world, and if yes, how they will be controlled administratively, to which district they will belong to, because right now we have a in traditional club they should be located within geographical boundaries of a district. So when we have members from several districts, how to organize and how to have them affiliated to a particular district? Thank you, sir.
Your question is understood and the board has an answer to that. So will one of the past board members please take on that question? PID Sangeeta, would you like to answer that?
Yeah, I mean,
the 75-25 rule.
25% of the members have to be can be outside the area, but the rest have to be no more than 25% of the cyber members can be outside the district. So where the club has been chartered. So that is what is the rule, and that kind of anchors the club to a particular district. So they can have some members who are not in that particular area, just like Kenneth said, but most of the members would have to belong to a particular district. As of now, that is the rule. But as the world is opening up, as the boundaries are breaking, I think the board is contemplating every year how they can change it. I know it will require a lot of constitutional change. It will require a mindset change. And most importantly, it will require a change as to how we operate. So those are the things that are being looked into practically, how it's going to be possible, but definitely that's going to be the future. And you will soon hear more about it. But at this point of time, you can have 25% of your members from outside your district, and those who may be in any other part of the world. So I think that's what the rule is right now.
And that's perfect. And I can only say that when this particular matter was finalized in the board, 3 individuals who are part of the webinar today were sitting on the membership committee when this was finalized. And I know it for a fact that all of them would have liked this percentage to be higher for the non-stationary members in the district, for the members located elsewhere. But then this is a global organization, and things have to go through a particular process. We need to have a few beta tests first. We need to see how things are moving, and then things can always be improved and improvised in the future. So that's the way it's going. It's been a very exciting and a very interactive webinar, rather I would say one of the most interactive webinars with participation and views from so many of the participants. And before we close, over to you, PID Sangeeta.
Thank you so much to our presenters, each one of you who brought a different perspective. To Natalia from LCI for joining in and giving us her viewpoint, and not her viewpoint, the organizational viewpoint, as well as taking feedback from our viewers and the audience and listening in. To the audience who come from, I think, almost 6 constitutional areas, if I look at it, and a variety of places. I know for some it might be a very odd hour, early morning or late nights, but you've all joined in. That's what makes this webinar so special. And our presenters, you took out time, you put down your thoughts, you made your presentations, and you agreed to join in. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And for those who could not join, and those who would like to share this webinar, we've got some questions on this also. It is being recorded, and it is going to be available on LeadersAcademy.org, the website of Eastern India Leadership Academy. So this webinar, as well as all the other webinars we've had till date, are all housed on the website LeadersAcademy.org. So feel free to go there, listen to them, share the webinar with whoever you feel could benefit. After all, the more we talk, the more we'll benefit. The more people hear, the more ideas that will come on. So before we sign off, over to PID AP Singh.
I have nothing more to add at this point of time, except to just tell you that the next webinar in our series would be on 13th October. It's the same time. And the topic for that would be My Club, My Way. What does it mean to me? Once again, a personal experience that would be shared by the leaders from different parts of the world. And of course, all the participants would be welcome to give in their pitch in with their experience and their questions. These presenters that we have received confirmations already so far are International Director Tom Gordon from Canada, past International Director Manoj Shah from Kenya, Africa, and past District Governor Christian Lafel from Germany. So once again, it's a global presentation. It's going to be a global presentation. We'll have one more presenter whose name we are not disclosing right now because we have not received that presenter's confirmation, but you will see it on the mails that you receive. Just a request, when you receive the mails with a link for registering for the webinar, feel free to pass on that mail to as many Lions as you can in your own club, your own district, your own multiple district. After all, these are conversations that belong to the Lions of the world. Thank you very much for joining, and it's been a pleasure being here on this platform with Lions, with friends from different parts of the world. Thank you very much as we sign off.
And we remember there are a lot of the members of the International Board of Directors on this webinar. They've been hearing on as I see the lists. So they are picking up your ideas, and I'm sure good ideas may become a reality someday. So thank you everybody for joining. Till the next time.
Thank you. Bye.